be posted on the Delaware County Library's website at delcolibraries.org. You can also see that the live transcription is being used. So if you don't need those captions, you can turn them off in your Zoom controls, and depending on which version of Zoom, you might find them in a different spot. So if you need some help with that, feel free to send me a message in the chat. We are asking folks that are not part of the Delaware County Libraries board to keep their cameras off and their microphones muted during the business portion of the meeting. But we will end with public comment for our registered attendees, so you can turn your camera on and unmute at that time. Any questions from the group? All right, then, Kathy, am I turning it directly over to Helen to get started?
Yes, please. And I would need Jason to put the agenda up, please.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Annie, for that. So I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:03. And the first item on the agenda is the minutes from October. Has everyone, I assume everyone has gotten a chance to review the minutes. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Not hearing any. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the minutes of the October 2021 meeting.
I second that.
Okay, very good. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, passes. Communications and announcements. We have, I am Helen McGrain, and I am acting president because Mary Ann Bullen is no longer on the board. And I would just like to thank Mary Ann for her years of service, even though she's not here. She did serve on the board for many years and was integral in the successes of the last decade. So thanks to Mary Ann. But we have two new trustees, and I know Tom Nixon is here. Tom, can you say a few words about yourself?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tom Nixon. I'm from the city of Chester. I was born and educated in the city, graduated from Chester High School, attended Shippensburg University, and I've worked in higher education for the last 25 years at a variety of different schools locally, Delaware County Community College, Cheney University, and right now I'm at Westchester University. So I'm looking forward to being an active member. I'm a lover of books and reading, and the library was a great resource for me when I was growing up in the city of Chester. So I'm looking forward to working with everyone on the committee.
Great. Okay. And Doug Ferguson is our second new board member.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Doug. I'm also in higher education. I'm from Springfield, originally from North Jersey. Been down here about 25 years now. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. I also work at Delaware County Community College with my old friend Tom, who was nice to reconnect when we joined the board last month, I think. And I'm just looking to help out. I'm in my library at least once or twice every other week, and looking forward to making a contribution when possible.
Okay, that's great. You both have excellent backgrounds, and we're looking forward to working with you as well.
Thank you.
So the next item on the agenda is the library strategic plan. Kathy, did you want to say something before Cheryl?
Actually, Helen, I am going to turn that over to Annie to do the introduction.
Okay.
Yes, so as I hope you remember, Pennsylvania standards for district library centers require that each district have a 5-year strategic plan for the provision of service and resource development. After an RFP process, we began working with Cheryl Trent of S-Brand Solutions over the last several months. Many of you have met Cheryl throughout that process. So I am very pleased to turn it over to her to share the plan that we have developed and all the hard work that our member libraries and stakeholders have helped us with. So Cheryl, take it away, please.
Thank you so much. And thank you for giving me a few moments tonight. I've met some of you. I appreciate the time and welcome to the new board members in particular. I'm sure all of you have done strategic planning before, but my goal tonight is to share that strategic plan with you. I know you've seen it, but walk through the process and methodology we used to deliver the plan to you, which I must say involved some amazing amount of input from the member libraries, a lot of collaboration and partnerships, a lot of really solid, constructive thought during a series of meetings, interviews, and surveys. So what you have in front of you is still in draft format. I am happy to take any considerative improvements that you might make. And my only question is, or ask, is that you send those through Annie so that we have a sort of a central gathering spot for that. But and what I will say is, despite all of my best attempts, there may still be some typos in this plan. I don't think so. And I've learned more about the Oxford comma than I ever really wanted to know. But this is your plan, and we want to make it resonate with you. We want you to understand it. So please do feel free to ask any questions in the chat box or as we go along, kind of wave at me and interrupt. This is going to be pretty high level, pretty sort of almost like a speed dating situation for you. So if I am going too fast as well, let me know. So the first thing I want to say is we did start, it's been a 6-month process. We did actually start back in July. And knowing that what we wanted to do was deliver a strategic plan to you before the end of the year for your consideration, there were many, many people who contributed to this. And I want to again recognize your member libraries for their participation in a series of strategic plan meetings that totaled close to 10 hours, where we sat around and talked about all of the things that are important to not just DCL services as an organization, but also the member libraries. And then together as one big partnership, one big collaboration, we came together and formed this plan. We did review this plan with the member libraries, and I asked, to me, a very significant question. And that is, if I came to the board tonight and I said, the member libraries that had the chance to be involved in this and see this, they are fully supportive of this plan? Yes, the answer was yes, they were. So I'm pleased to tell you that, that after all that hard work on the part of your staff, who are, by the way, quite amazing and quite fun to work with, we had a great staff meeting about the details to get the plan work done. And all of that input from the member libraries, all of the interviews, all of the work that was done in the surveys, I think you have a very, very solid, very well-written plan that truly reflects the partners, the collaborative approach that you all are using to conduct your business. So what I want to do is share screen. I'm not a huge fan of PowerPoints, but I do want to show you one important slide. And that slide is the time frame. And so I just want to cover with you sort of, if you will, the details of how we got here. So what you should be seeing now is a series of circles with dates. It might be a little small on your screen. I'm just going to walk you through it to talk about the process and methodology. We always start with a really thorough kind of a conversation with, and in this case, it was mostly Annie and Kathy that gave me the guidance, the course correction, the feedback along the way, about where are we going to go with a strategic plan? What kind of outcome or deliverable? Who do we want to involve? And those conversations take place over a series of weeks to be really thorough. And I can tell you, Annie and Kathy are very thorough. We developed a lot of shared documents through Google Drive, where I was able to see all the documents that were important to you as part of this process, to read those, to absorb those, to do my best to understand them. And then we started on our surveys and our interviews. We did 5 separate surveys that were unique and sort of targeted. One was for you as the board, one was for the staff. We had one for elected officials. We had one for your member libraries. We tried to reach out to as many partners as we possibly could. And those survey questions were strategic plan types of questions. What's working well today? What might be an improvement that we can think of? What are some of the trends that you see? What are some of the priorities? What should we think about? And we also conducted 4 interviews. And those are personal one-on-one interviews that take about an hour that allow me to dig a little bit deeper. And on the basis of that information, we conducted those Zoom meetings that I told you about. There were 3 of them. And after each Zoom meeting before the next one, very quick turnaround time, we crafted some language for the plan. We then drafted your plan, redrafted your plan, redrafted your plan, redrafted your plan. As you can imagine, working with Kathy and Annie, this is a well-reviewed plan. And we have what you see tonight. It went through a staff process where we had a staff meeting where I call the implementation. That's where the rubber meets the road. So yes, here's the high level goals and objectives, but what are we going to do specifically as the DCL service staff to accomplish that? And I encouraged each member library to also take this plan and ask that same question. What can we as the member libraries do to help see this shared vision and shared mission happen as we go through the next series of months and years together? And I believe this plan was also shared briefly with the county commissioners this week to see if they had some feedback, because that's what the plan is designed to do. It's a working document. It should help inform the budget. It should be something that Kathy and Annie can take and you can take and share with your community, your elected officials, and say, this is what's important to us. We would like your help with this area. We could really use some assistance here to get this accomplished. And as a working document, it's never actually complete. I am hoping that you adopt it at the beginning of the coming year in 2022 as your strategic plan, but that doesn't mean you check a box, it goes on a shelf and there it sits. What it means is that this is truly a working document and you should review it regularly. I have follow-up meetings with the staff, Annie, Kathy, and all the team at DCL to talk about how is it going. They're quarterly. What's going well? What did we accomplish this quarter? What needs to be changed? What did we learn through this process that we didn't know before that can make this plan even better? And it's also a best practice for you as a board to gather annually, maybe after you select new board members, walk yourself through the plan, make sure it still has context and meaning to you. And I'm also hoping that you continue to involve your member libraries as a whole, hopefully all 26 of them in this process, because they did help create this original plan. So what I want to do now is move to sharing the plan. And I know you've all seen it. And what I'm thinking you might be looking at now is possibly not the right screen. So there we go. That's the screen I wanted to share with you. Can you all see the first page of the strategic plan that says, it's got a couple of adorable children. It says draft. It says our libraries are vital and valued. Perfect. I always try to check because I can't tell you how many times I've done this and been 3 slides in and no one saw it. So you are literally looking at the language that came out of this process. I try to make the language coherent, but these are literally the words that were created during the meeting. So this is that plan that the member libraries support because they literally wrote this plan for us. So as you go through, you can see this is the web design. So you can see it's designed to be read on the web. There are lots of ways to do this. We'll also do a print version for you if you want to do some printing. But what it talks about here is the overall purpose of the strategic plan and how we collaborate as member libraries, as well as the purpose. It's a vision, it's a roadmap that describes these collaborative partnerships between the district center and your 26 member libraries. And these photos came from across the member libraries as well. We wanted to have a piece of information here that you could share as well, because one of the things I found in my interviews and my surveys was that there are many, many people that work directly with you all the time who don't have a clear understanding, or didn't, I should say, have a clear understanding of the difference between what the district does, the district center does, and what an individual library might do or provide. So this page is designed to do that, and also to highlight all the amazing things that you do in the libraries. This is the overall, it's also on the front page. Our libraries are vital and valued, and this is why. And these are the 8 strategic priorities that came out of the plan. They're in alphabetical order, with the exception of one, although I snuck it in there alphabetically. So it's community-centered, diverse and inclusive, innovative and creative, leaders in lifelong learning, open and accessible, resourceful and responsive, safe and welcoming, and collaborative and sustainable. Most of these are very, what I call forward facing. How are we going to provide services that your communities want and need? What are we going to do to interact with the communities in the delivery of the programs, materials, support that we provide? And then the collaborative and sustainable is very system oriented. It's focused on the actual organizational work that could be done to support the rest of it. So here's where the speed dating comes in. We have a page on each one of these priorities. It describes a little bit about the priority. It talks about the main big picture goals. You're familiar with goals. They're very big. They're very broad. They might be actually kind of scary, as in, oh my gosh, how are we going to do that? The how is really up to the staff. And I can tell you they've been working very hard on it. And what was helpful was during the meetings, we talked about how would we know if we were successful at these goals? And so those are the success indicators and some relevant statistics and measures. And translated a slightly different way over here on the far right, it's how is this going to be experienced in the real world? If I come into one of the member libraries, this is what I'll experience because we've been focused on this priority and these goals. So it takes something that's a little bit intangible sometimes or difficult to understand and translates it into behavior and action. We're diverse and inclusive. I can tell you that a lot of extra work went into this page. We did a draft of this page. We submitted it to the member libraries, and there was some additional conversation that we literally just wrapped up earlier last week to finish off this diverse and inclusive page. The innovative and creative piece, the leaders in lifelong learning. I have a special affinity for this picture. I was a Rotarian for many years. Open and accessible, resourceful and responsive, safe and welcoming. And here's the collaborative and sustainable page. I just want to stop a bit here because, as I mentioned, this is more internally focused. So if you as a board are looking for something to really latch on to as a board, this could be a really great set of goals to focus some board time and attention on as you move into the coming months and years to see what you can really accomplish in these areas. And it's about collaboration and participation and partnerships and communication, focusing on supporting your staff across the entire libraries system. The agreements that you have with your member libraries, and the idea about being really clear on the roles and responsibilities between the district center and the member libraries, and how that can really come together and integrate to create some really amazing results. And then the last few pages are, again, a reminder of what the strategic plan is about and those main priorities. And then I really like this picture. It's the collaborative photo of every library that you have in your system. So what I want to do is stop there and see first from Annie and Kathy, if there's anything I missed that you really would like me to expand a little bit more on, and then ask the same thing of the board. If there's anything that you would like or need me to expand a little bit more on. Annie or Kathy?
Cheryl, I just wanted to add that the Delaware County Library Board of Trustees, this is the first time that they are seeing the draft. So after this meeting, they will get a link to the draft, and I would just ask them to review, because I'll ask for a motion to adopt at our February meeting in 2022. The library directors did see a copy of the draft because they met last week as a group. So Cheryl was able to attend that meeting and to share the plan then. So library directors do have a link to, do they, Annie? They have a link to that draft. So if the local library board members would like to see a copy of that draft, please reach out to your library directors because they have that, or you could reach out to Annie or myself So I just wanted to let my board know that that's going to be the plan. We're going to share a link to the draft. You'll be able to review it at your leisure, and you'll have until February to either ask questions of Annie, Cheryl, or myself, with the intention that at the February meeting, we'll adopt this as the official strategic plan.
I'm glad you said that because I was terrified that I had missed it.
No, this all came together really fast, and we had a chance to share it with the library, the member library directors last Thursday. And we shared it with county council, and they're the only groups that have seen it. And then now everybody here at this meeting tonight.
I'm sorry about that confusion.
Oh, no, I'm just relieved to know I hadn't missed it. Did county council have any input or any feedback?
They did not, but I did go in front of council Tuesday for the agenda meeting and Wednesday night. So I have a little bit of news to share a little later on down in the agenda, because I did mention the strategic plan. So exciting things are happening. So they didn't directly give me feedback, but they were supportive of all of my requests at the council meeting.
Nice,
great.
nice work.
It's beautiful, and I think that's important for communicating what could be dense and difficult concepts. So I just wanted to make that point. It's beautiful.
Thank
Very
Cheryl,
visually appealing.
Cheryl, I do think you covered all of the high points, so there isn't anything else that I think we should note for the board and our member library trustees. I think you covered it all, so thank you.
Thank
It
you.
was a bit of a speed date. I apologize for that.
No, it's very helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I'm really proud of it. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to partner with you in the plan. And I know I get a chance for a whole year to come back to Delaware County. So I'm excited by that as well. On a side note, Annie made me watch Mayor of Easttown to prep. So I can't quite speak the language yet, but I'm close. So
Have you at least been to Wawa?
Yeah, we actually, yes, I'm familiar. I was familiar with Wawa's before, but she was teasing me
Oh.
about getting a sandwich from Wawa. So
She was here in November, so we said she should get a gobbler and eat it on a trash can, but I don't think she did.
That doesn't work.
But
well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'll see everyone soon. If I don't see you beforehand, have a great holiday season.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Cheryl.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. The next item on the agenda is the financial report from October of 2021. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the financial report?
No.
Okay, not hearing any. Can I have a motion to approve?
I move that that the board approves the financial report for October 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Administrators report.
Okay, so thank you. The first item I want to talk about is the county coordination aid agreement, and I'm going to ask the board for a motion for this at the end of my explanation. At the end of your at the back of your packet that I sent out is a copy of the county coordination aid agreement that was developed by representatives from the member libraries. So I'm not sure how many pages it is, but it's in the very back. So if you want to refer to that as I'm speaking, that might help you understand a little bit what I'm talking about. So each county library or county library system receiving county coordination aid funding is required to complete a plan for that aid. Delaware County receives $160,063.68 in aid that they must allocate to 5 specific categories. Those categories are library resources and collections, technology, library services, administration, and services to children, adults, and special populations. Delaware County formed a task force comprised of representatives from the member library to provide input and direction. The categories selected were resources and collection, technology, and services to children ages birth to young adult. The plan was distributed to all 26 member libraries and, like I said, is attached to the packet that you received. So I am asking for a motion to accept the plan as submitted.
Just a quick
Motion.
question.
Oh.
Sorry, quick question, Kathy.
Sure.
I'm looking at the proposal. So they're saying library resources and collections 113,000, technology at 39,000, and then services of children, adults, and special populations $6,652. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's not the total of all the funds that we put to those categories. That's just how we divvied up that $160,000.
So administration and library services, it shows a blank. Is that accurate?
Yes, that comes from other funding sources.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah,
sounds
so
good.
this is just that specific amount being divvied up.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Okay, I move to approve the county coordination aid agreement as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the mobile app. On December 1st, Library Services requested that County Council approve the implementation of a library mobile app, and that request was unanimously approved. The strategic planning process has shed light on the need for advanced technologies within libraries. So now more than ever, libraries need to engage existing patrons and reach new users where they are, namely on their mobile devices. An app will allow Delaware County libraries to increase engagement and create a direct and personalized channel of communication to users. US Census data shows us that 10% of the Delaware County population has a cell phone data plan and no other type of internet subscription. Data overwhelmingly points to apps being the way forward and a way to address the digital divide when it comes to computers and broadband access. The mobile library app will be designed to extend the walls of our libraries through advanced capabilities such as discovery, patron account access, click and collect, which will allow patrons to reserve items and be notified when they're ready for pickup, and a patron self-checkout function. The app will now go into development with the expectation of an early 2022 rollout.
But that
Are there any
seems a little
questions?
ambitious, doesn't it?
No, we talked to the vendor and he said like 6 to 8 weeks.
Wow.
Yes. So
Kathy, can I?
Sure.
Oh, no, please finish. I have a question when you're
Okay. So council, the way it works is council agree, they either affirm or deny the request, which they agreed. And the contract was most likely signed Wednesday night or today. So I'll return it to the vendor who reached out to me this morning. And he said they'll start the process right away and we can look forward to, an early 2022 delivery. There'll be some, back-end training involved to some of the member libraries, but as you guys are all probably aware, apps are usually patron facing. So it's the responsibility and the onus is going to be more so on the patron than it is going to be on library staff.
This is a really probably embarrassing question, like one of those really ancient members of Congress asking Mark Zuckerberg questions. But so how is this different than my just using my phone to get on the DCLS website and reserve a book or check what the status of my, when my books are due or something like that?
Sure. Well, your phone isn't particularly, the screen isn't formatted for the web. So you don't realize it, but it's probably a little bit clunkier than it should be. An app is strictly designed for mobile use. So the difference is going to be night and day when you get on the app and you try to search the catalog and you check your record.
Oh, okay.
The only thing I can say is when you get the app, you'll wonder why we didn't do it sooner.
Yeah.
Because the interface is just so much more compatible with mobile devices.
Yeah, another thing with websites is that websites, when you're running a website off your phone, you're having a lot of traffic come in onto your phone. And sometimes, like Delaware County's Daily Times, sometimes I'll get on the phone, I'll pull it up, and there's a lot of traffic coming in because there's a lot of ads on that. And so that can like kind of get your phone stuck a little bit. With an app, it's actually more user friendly depending on your phone or your tablet. So it cleans up a lot of that mess basically. So you can be able to use it much more easier. So that's the purpose of having an app, and it's more interpersonal, I guess. That is strictly DCLS. It'll be to that, and so that's like what the purpose is of having an app.
Right. And also, Jenny, remember your phone will now be able to read the barcode on the item that you're checking out. But we are giving, since all of our libraries are independent, we are giving them the option of either turning on or leaving off the patron self-checkout function, because some libraries might choose not to allow patrons to check out their own materials because, for obvious reasons, they might not be set up that way. They'd have to think about logistics. But there are other libraries who will want to give patrons that option to check out their own materials, at a desk or a station that they provide. And you can't do that with your phone and a web. You'd need to do that
through an app.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's on the Amazon Go store.
I had a question, Kathy, if you don't mind, and maybe this
Not at all.
it's about the app, but maybe I'm shooting at straws here. If there's ever an overcharge, late charge or anything like that, is it able to accept electronic payment nowadays, or instead of the old, I don't have a dollar bill on me when I get to the library? Is there any financial incentive or financial tool to it?
You know what, Doug? That is an option within the app, but we did not elect to purchase that at this time. That would be an add-on. And that is something we can definitely consider in the future if all of the libraries agree that that's the way to go. But for right now, this is just sort of like, let's get our toe into the water and see how this takes off.
Well, it sounds exciting.
It's very exciting. Are there any
Great
other
idea.
Yeah, we're excited about it. So we hope that, it makes life a little bit easier for patrons. The request ask app portion of the app where you can go ahead and request your book, and then you get the notification on your phone when your book is ready to pick up, might save some staff time of them having to actually call patrons. So we're excited just to see how this all plays out, and we hope that everybody sees the benefit of this.
Very good.
Great.
So the next item is, if there are no more questions, I don't want to rush anybody, but if there are no more questions, the next item is Office of Commonwealth Libraries. And I apologize, I used acronyms. Librarians use acronyms all the time, and I didn't even think about it. So it's the Office of Commonwealth Libraries, Institute of Museum and Library Services, American Rescue Plan grant, and that is Annie.
Yes. So Delaware County Libraries, as a library system and an entity that received 2020, 2021 state aid to libraries is eligible to apply for $167,669 in American Rescue Plan funding provided by the Institute of Museum and Library Services. And it is available through the Pennsylvania Department of Education and Office of Commonwealth Libraries. After thoroughly reviewing the grant requirements, the DCL staff recommended to our member library directors at their November 18th meeting that this grant be focused on the replacement of circulation computers across our network. These computers are more than 8 years old at this point, and they are the true workhorses of our system. So we want to make sure to have them in good working order. So after a lengthy discussion at the directors meeting, there was consensus among the member libraries to move forward with this proposal. Kathy then did request and receive County Council's approval to submit a grant application at their meeting yesterday. And Kathy and I, along with our IT folks, Renee and Jason and Jeff, are gathering all sorts of information to work on the 35-page grant application. It is due in January, on January 25th, although we are hoping to actually submit the grant as soon as possible. So before the end of the year, if not sooner. And we do anticipate this is an allocated grant. So the Office of Commonwealth Libraries during the review process will make sure that we're able to receive the funds. So they will work with us to make sure that our application is acceptable for the program. So we are looking forward to that.
Wow, thank you for finding that and following up on it.
Amazing.
That would be wonderful. Fingers crossed.
Yes. A Christmas present, a late Christmas present.
There we go.
How much is the grant for again?
So the grant is $167,669, which fingers crossed with the supply chain and how costs have gone up, but we are fairly confident that it will be able to cover the 125 circulation computers on the network. So we think just by the skin of our teeth, we'll be able to cover everything.
Okay.
Very good. Well, thank you, Annie. So the next item on the agenda is committee reports.
There are no committee reports.
Oh, very good. Well, that's easy. New business. So we, at this point, we do not, well, I'm the interim president, and I guess I'm also the vice president. I'm not sure how that works, but and it is going to be a new year next year. So we have to have a new slate of officers for next year. And Jenny has, was it?
No,
Susan has volunteered, sorry, Susan, to chair the nominating committee. So folks on the board, if you're interested in being an officer on the board, please make your intentions known to Susan, and Susan will present the slate at our February meeting for approval.
And my email's on the email chain, so you should be able to S. Keller, so you can get to me that way.
Thank you, Susan. And the next item on the agenda is old business.
There is no old business.
And then the next item is public comments.
So I guess now would be the time for people to either raise their hand or unmute themselves to speak. Jason, could you take the agenda off the screen so we could see if anyone has their hand raised? if they want to share. Sandy McCann does. Sandy, do you want to speak? Just tell us where you're from and what library.
Hi, I'm from Newtown Square Library, or Newtown Library. And one of the things that we wanted to address is just the location of meetings. We would really like to keep meetings virtual or hybrid. We have a number of people who have lost family members to COVID and are really not comfortable meeting in a public space. And also just in terms of the fact that some of the meetings have been very short and have been longer travel times to get to the meeting than the meetings have actually lasted.
Okay, so I would love to keep meetings hybrid, virtual too. Unfortunately, we are subject to the Sunshine Law. And since we are an agency of county government, I was informed by the solicitor's office that our meetings have to go back to in person. And there was no wiggle room on there. I did get clarification and we were told that we were subject to the law and we couldn't do that. So since that had happened, I had reached out to, I had gotten concerns from some other library boards, and I had reached out to the executive director and said, is there any way that we can have access to the technology that county council uses, because they stream their meetings and they are also in person. So we were told, yes, we certainly could. So then that led us to the challenge of how do we know who's attending and who's not, because that is a requirement for county aid. And I talked to the AV technician, and he has let me know that he believes he can set up a Zoom webinar at the same time that we are meeting in person. So that will allow people that want to attend the meeting virtually and be counted for aid. They can attend the Zoom webinar, and those that want to attend the meeting in person can still do so. So we are working on that diligently. We met twice this week with the AV tech, and 3 of us are meeting on Tuesday to go over the software to see how this will work. But the AV tech for Delaware County feels confident that he can make it work where people can attend virtually as a Zoom webinar and be counted so that we know you're there, and also have the option of attending in person so that we're holding the meetings in person and we are abiding by the law. Does that answer your question, Sandy?
No, that's amazing. And especially now with Omicron and everything that keeps coming up. I mean, I think that 18 months ago, we never thought that 18 months ago we'd still be talking about this.
Right. Believe me, I'm right. I'm right there with you. If it was up to me, we would stay virtual. We didn't have that option.
Oh, no. And yeah. Honestly, we certainly understand. And the fact of the matter is, it can change every day. It does change. So we appreciate that. And we very much appreciate the fact that there is effort being made to make it more accessible for the world. I mean, we obviously we want to do our part. We need to do our part. We understand that. But the fact of the matter is that some of us are just scared and don't want to go out in public.
Right. Well, hopefully this is going to solve all of that, and we'll be able to meet in person. But then also for those that want to attend virtual, they'll have that option.
Kathy, Linda Laws was hoping to.
Hello.
Hi, Linda.
Hi. Yes, Linda Laws from Yaden Library. And I just wanted to report tonight that our board member, who was also a DCL liaison, Annette Johns, passed away in October.
I'm sorry to hear.
You all may have known her because she looked forward to coming to the meetings and reporting back to us. So just wanted to let you know and to keep us in your thoughts, please.
I'm
Very
sorry.
sorry to hear that.
Mhm.
And yeah, thank
You
you.
did great report outs at all our meetings.
Yes, you all remember her. So yeah.
Thank you.
And we also like to let you know that I didn't send anything in advance, but we have 2 new trustees. And I would hope to bring them in February so you can meet them. Hakima Jabbar and Stephanie Robinson have joined the Yaden Public Library Board of Trustees. So thank you tonight.
I think Linda, I think Stephanie Robinson is online. I see her right now.
And so is Hakima. Hakima's here.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both here.
Oh, they're both here.
They are.
Welcome, welcome to the new people.
And hopefully they'll attend in February and they can introduce them, you know, if you did see them. Wonderful. Thank you.
I see that there's a question from Doug. Does the location have to be the courthouse? The council room in the courthouse is set up for safety. There's acrylic glass between, not glass, but plastic between the board people who sit on the dais. And also the room is big enough that the chairs are placed 6 feet apart. And the technology is there in the room to accommodate both the virtual live stream and the Zoom webinar. So that is why that location was selected.
I just was curious if there was another space. I understand the safety, the plexiglass and whatnot, but if there were other spaces, not traveling roadshow to different libraries, but I don't know, like a university or something might have something similar to Delaware County that has like a larger classroom or meeting environment aside from the courthouse. That's what I was asking.
Oh, okay. The council room is pretty big. It would safely fit if every trustee did attend in person. It's big enough that they would sit at least 6 feet away from each other. So I feel pretty safe in that decision. But since they are letting us use it for free and we have access to their technician for free, well, not free, but I think it's going to be, it'll be the best case scenario.
Thank you.
Parking shouldn't be a problem at that time, so.
No, parking is free after 6 o'clock. I checked with the media bureau and it is.
And does the government center require everyone to wear a mask indoors?
They do. And the park police will be there at the door to enforce that. So that's another sort of safety.
Is there a vaccination requirement for entering the building?
No.
Okay.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Bob made a comment on the chat. He said,
I'm sorry.
yeah, Middletown Free Library.
Bob Fife from Middletown Free Library. Check out our new facility. Yes, Middletown has a fancy new facility. It's very nice. On 464 South Old Middletown Road. I believe it used to be the Roosevelt School, if I'm not mistaken. Tomorrow night is their bottle and brush fundraiser. I assume that's alcohol, right, Bob?
That's bring a bottle of wine and they'll supply the paintbrush.
Oh, okay. They're doing Monet Sunrise in Venice. A few spots are still available. That's $40 and it is 6:30 to 8:30.
Sounds lovely. Yeah.
It does. Are there any other comments?
Okay, so if there's no other comments, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move that the meeting be adjourned.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, see you all on February 17th.
In media.
Happy
Thank you, everybody.
holidays.
Have a great holiday,
Good
everyone.
night.
Happy holidays. Stay
Bye.
safe.
Holidays.
Happy holidays.